Sees Alistair, put him in jail, put his ass in jail, and get some questions out of him. Not freaking happening. Girl. Shit is going down. Jayla, why are you doing this to us? Why? No. No. I don't know what that means. He's got stairtails. And it's the strangest thing. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we have a very exciting vlog that you're hopefully going to be watching. In this vlog we're going to be reading one of my most anticipated releases of the year, of Gilded Bones. I'm so excited. So I have already started this, but I'm just needed to do the intro, and I'm like so excited. I'm so excited for this. The only thing I'm a little worried about is on Goodreads, pretty much all of the reviews are 5 stars. However, I have seen a few people who are rating it a little bit lower, and it's a little concerning because I really want to like this. But yes, I just wanted to say that I'm going to start it. Unfortunately, it is going to have spoilers, so if you haven't read it, don't watch past this point. Please do go read it and then please do come back. But if you don't care for spoilers, get something to drink, get something to eat, and join me on this journey of reading A Crown of Gilded Bones. So yes, so without further ado, let's jump to the footage of me opening the package and then we'll get started with the vlog. This is Gabby from the past. I mean, all of this is Gabby from the past, but like this video is Gabby from the past because you will have seen my intro video a few seconds ago, like explaining what this vlog is. However, this is the video of me opening my package and receiving A Crown of Gilded Bones. An email from my apartment complex that had a package waiting at the front. So I had to go pick it up. But without further ado, I can feel it. She's thick, but she's not as thick as oh, there's already an issue. There's a dent. That's rude. But anyway, here we go. My hands. Oh my god, this copy is busted. Why is it so messed up? I think you can see that. Do you see this? It's like completely off. That's so rude. And then like the back here is like flipped down. That is so annoying. And this is like the only copy that I have right now, which means I have to read from this one. But I don't want to annotate this one when it's busted. I'm sorry, like if it was just this, like that can be flattened out and it's fine, but like that is a piece of the book chunk missing and like could potentially come apart. That's ridiculous. But anyway, it's finally in my hands. How many pages is it? Oh 645. I think that's the longest one yet. Although, oh, is there a new, do the other ones have maps? There's a map. But yes, anyway, I finally have my copy, so I just needed to get my reaction on film. We'll see, but I don't see myself starting it tomorrow because I made the mistake of starting A Court of Silver Flames during the school year. And I got my shit done. Don't come at me saying that like, oh my god, you like let stuff go to the wayside. No, I got my shit done. I may or may not have not gone to a class because I wanted to keep reading. And I may or may not have gotten up at 9:30 with the intention of going to that class that started at 9:35. And at 9:35 said, nah, I'm just gonna read my book. And finished it that day. But you know what? I didn't let things fall to the wayside and I freaking did it, okay? I freaking did it. But yes, all of this very long clip just to say that I finally got my copy. And I'm very excited to read it. So without further ado, let's go to future Gabby, who should be very happy because she's reading. just started reading it today. This morning I finished Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. I am quite impressed with myself because I listened to 6 hours of the audiobook today. I wanted to do my first update now because I have officially read the first 3 chapters of A Crowd of Gilded Bones. I need to preface this with saying that I previously read the first 3 chapters. However, I didn't entirely remember what had happened, and I wanted to annotate it anyway and then give you my thoughts. So many things happen in these first 3 chapters, like they're action-packed. So without further ado, let's just kind of get into discussing some things. So right off the bat, you know, we learned that we have Queen Eloana saying, you know, and bow before the last descendant of the Ancient Ones, she who carries the blood of the king of the gods within her, bow before your new queen. I was like, what? Shocking. Like, what? So yes, I was really excited about that. I was like, Queen Poppy, we love Queen Poppy. And then I just loved when Poppy was talking about Castile because it was just really cute. Poppy has mentioned a few times that Castile reminds her of the cave cat that she saw when she was younger in the cage, and there have been people that have been saying that they think that Malik is the cave cat, and I'm not sure if I agree or disagree with them, and I also don't know if JLA has like debunked those rumors and said if they're true or not, but yeah, I'm not quite sure if I really agree with that statement. I think it would be really interesting, and I think like it would make sense as to why she keeps bringing it up if that's the case, but I'm not completely convinced on that one. Oh, also, I really don't like Alistair. I loved him when he was first introduced, and I was so excited that Poppy might get another like person that's very similar to Victor, but that did not occur. That did not occur, and he was irritating me through these whole first chapters. And we learn that Poppy broke all of the bonds of the Wolven, and now they don't answer to the Atlanteans, they answer to her. All hail Queen Poppy. I had no problem with that. And the fact that Alistair, again, suspicious, all of the other Wolven turned when they heard her call, and then, you know, we're all protecting her except for Alistair. Alistair was all in his humanness and hadn't turned, wasn't listening to her. Like, there's something just so sus, just suspicious about him. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's like thinks that he's in the right and he's trying to protect Atlantia. I don't know what it is, but he says I'm also thinking that he's the one who has been saying that creepy little rhyme, which we'll get to in a second, in chapter 3, with the whole pretty Poppy, watch it bleed, pick it, watch it bleed. Like, that's so creepy, and I think he's the one who said it to her, and I think he has more connections to why her parents died than we know. Like, I think he plays a big role in it. So Castile was like, seize Alistair, and I was like, yes, seize Alistair, put him in jail, put his ass in jail, and get some questions out of him. Then, and oh my goodness, I would have been freaking the frick out if I hadn't read this already and known that Castile and Kyrian and Jasper, is it Jasper? Yeah, Jasper, were completely fine. Because, you know, Alistair, being the little shit that he is, basically told people to attack them, and Kyrian gets shot, Jasper gets shot with a fucking arrow, and then Castile gets shot with arrow twice, and then they all make Poppy believe that Castile is dead, and that is the only reason she went ballistic on them, was because she thought that Castile was dead. And then they have the audacity to say that she is the threat to Atlantia. You're gonna make her a threat when you kill her husband and her husband's best friend and her husband's best friend's father. Or when you at least make her believe that that's what happened. I was freaking out when I read it the first time. Knowing that in the 3rd chapter we realize that they're not dead helped this read, but the first time I was freaking out. I was like, no way are they gonna kill Castile, Kyrian, and Jasper in the first 2 chapters of this book. Not frickin' happening. What a pretty little flower, what a pretty Poppy. Pick it and watch it bleed. Not so pretty any longer. I think at first I thought it was something that maybe the Duke said to her in one of the sessions, but it could also be from that night and Alistair saying it. I still am convinced that Alistair is the one who killed her parents. So then chapter 3 rolls around and she's locked up in a freaking crypt. This book is moving a million miles an hour. And they have those really weird like bone vine thingies, like the cups that are the bones of the gods, and with the power it like nullifies power and it like will chop your hand off if you fight it too much. Creepy and a little concerning about who the freak like made that. And then the last thing that I just wanted to like bring up, because girl, shit is going down. So then, and this is where JLA was like, she knew what she was doing when she released those 3 chapters. The last part of this, we reveal that it's Commander Jensen that's sitting next to her in the crypt. And then he changes into Beckett. And I was hella freaking confused when I first read that. I was like, I'm sorry, what? This brought up so many questions. Could that have been the Beckett that brought her to the temple? Could, you know, Commander Jensen never have existed? Was Commander Jensen Beckett? Was Beckett Commander Jensen? I don't know. There was so many questions that I have, and I'm just gonna give you like the snippet right this second. I started reading the like in the 4th chapter. He's a changeling. So I'm not sure he's either, I don't think he's either Beckett nor Commander Jensen. I think he may have played Commander Jensen in Solace when they were trying to get Hawk into the ranks to be able to like get close to her. But that also brings up the question, where's the real Commander Jensen? Was there ever really a Commander Jensen? I'm curious to see how those questions are going to be answered. So without further ado, I'm gonna go back to reading, because like I said, I think shit's gonna go down. Okay, quickly, it was just confirmed that yes, it wasn't actually Beckett who led Poppy to the temple. It was this changeling, which I thought were extinct, so I'm a little confused, but like, you know, we're gonna figure it out. So my question was, if this isn't the real Beckett, where is the real Beckett? And we just found out that Commander Jensen, or whatever the fuck his name is, killed Beckett because he was supposed to be asleep, but the draft, or like the potion that he had given him, wasn't enough, and he woke up, so we had to kill him. I mean, it also begs the question, did we ever really meet the real Beckett? I don't know. I don't know. So there's that. I don't know how to feel at the moment. This is literally 2 pages into chapter 4. This is gonna be a long book. Okay, I just need this on record before I continue reading, and it like is revealed. I'm on page 56, and I'm gonna get really pissed off if the changeling, I don't even know his name. Is his name really Commander Jensen? Like, is his name Jensen at all? I have no idea. But if he is there to collect something from Poppy to then become Poppy, I'm gonna be irritated, because there's a line that says, I would get out of here either on my own or Castiel would find me. I knew he had to be searching for me, likely started the moment he woke up, and he would tear the entire kingdom apart if necessary. He would find me. I would get out of here. If he has no reason to worry about her being there because the changeling is Poppy, how's he supposed to find her? And I have a feeling that that's where the plot, at least for right now, is going, and what they're trying to do. I hope Castiel is smart enough, or Kieran or somebody is smart enough to realize that that's not the real Poppy. But I don't know. Okay, so I've literally only read, I think it's 2 more chapters, maybe 3. No, it is 2 chapters, because I read 4 and 5. And I have some thoughts. I hate Alistair with a burning passion. He can go die in a ditch. Okay, one of the bombshells was that apparently Poppy is descendant of Malek, or Malek. I think it's Malek for Castiel's brother, and then Malek for looking, because Malek had the same sort of empathy powers. He could heal with his touch, and he could do a lot more, and a lot of people didn't know about this because he didn't do it when there was people around. And then the second bombshell drops, and we all knew that Alistair was behind the death of her parents, but like, to actually hear him say it, it was really heartbreaking to see Poppy's reaction and to like figure out, or to like finally realize that he's the reason that her parents are dead. It's very sad, and he's just a piece of shit. So if we're to believe Alistair, which I don't see why he would lie at this point, he's not the one who betrayed them. Yes, he was probably going to kill them anyway, but he's not the one who did it, and he's not the one who led the Craven there. I think the Duke was the one who led the Craven there, because Alistair said that it was a he was cloaked in darkness, he had a cloak on, like, all of this. And I remember in the first book, the Duke mentions her mom, says something about her mom, and knowing the Duke, it wouldn't put it past him to have been in love with her. She rejected him, and then he's like, well, fine, I'm gonna kill you and everybody, because if I can't have you, nobody will. That's why the Duke hated Poppy so much, was because she looked so much like her father, or she looked like her mother, and it just reminded him of her, and it was a no-go. So I have a feeling that it was the Duke who led the Craven there, but still, Alistair had a part in her parents dying. Like, he didn't stop the Craven. Then he says that he's giving Poppy over to the Ascended. And like, I just don't understand how that's gonna help him in any way. I don't understand how the Ascended having Poppy is gonna help. Like, they either are going to use her to make more Ascended, or are going to use her as a weapon against the Atlanteans, which is the last thing you want, because if they have her as a weapon, you are all going to die. So, you know, I'm just a little confused on the logic there. And now Poppy is drugged. Well, maybe not drugged, but she was sort of poisoned. And I'm not quite sure where they're taking her at the moment. Like, because I don't think she's going to the Ascended just yet. That just seems a little too quick. I think they're moving her somewhere else. And then we'll see what happens. Okay, so I was just about to read some more of Count of Gilded Bones, you know, without a camera, without any updates or anything. But then this happened, and so the opening of this chapter is Poppy is waking up after she got knocked out. She's waking up with stars above her, so she's been moved. She realized she's in the wasteland. I freaking hate Commander Jensen. They sent her there, and some Ascended woman comes up to her and is like, it'll be okay now, maiden, like, the queen is so very happy to see you, whatever. But in the middle of her sentence, it says, the Ascended drooped back without warning as something wet and warm sprayed my face and neck. She looked down at the same thing I did, my eyes and hers widening at the sight of the thick bolt, now embedded deep in her chest. Her lips peeled back, and she let out a high-pitched snarl, revealing jagged fangs. What in the... Another bolt tore through her head, shattering bone and tissue. The sight was so unexpected and so sudden that I didn't even hear the shouts at first. All I could do was stare at the spot where she'd stood, where her head had been. Suddenly something large and white leapt into my line of sight, taking down a masked man. Delano. She's getting saved, and I'm so excited. I needed my reaction to be on camera, so Kieran is there. I love how her first question is about Castile, and Kieran's response is currently disemboweling some idiot in a goddamn dissenter mask. What? Okay, so quite honestly, I thought King Valen wasn't, maybe not a bad guy, because obviously he loves his son, but I didn't think he was gonna be so supportive and so, like, you know, but she just said that it was his father that she just saw stabbing somebody who had abducted her. Like, we love a supportive father-in-law. Oh my god, the whole gang is there, and I'm so happy. Castile just pulled out someone's spine, and Carrion goes, he's a little angry. And then Poppy goes, a little? And Kieran goes, okay, he's really angry. I almost want to put a tab there because that is really funny, but no tab. I am going to put a pink tab because the first time she said she loves him. At least out loud. It needs to happen sometime in this book. Multiple times in this book. I prefer. Because, like, they need to finally frickin' say it. Oh, yay, they captured Alistair. Good. She just asked how long they've had her, and Kieran's response is, it's been 6 days and 8 hours. I don't know if it's Castile who's kept track, or Kieran, but that's so cute that he knows even to the hour. Okay, I was kind of excited we were going to see her use her power, like, in control of it, although I understand why she didn't use it, but at least as of right now she hasn't used it, but still. But she kind of had. Oh god. What does he mean by as do I? She just killed Jensen, but Poppy just said, I keep my promises, and Jensen goes, as do I. Oh boy. What the hell? She's got a frickin' bolt sticking out of her chest. Obviously she doesn't die because, like, main character and all, but, like, she's got a bolt sticking out of her chest. What the hell is happening? Did she get stuck with one of those, the bolts that Castile was stuck with? Because if so, she's just gonna, you know, her skin's gonna harden and then they're just gonna, you know, figure it out later. But, I'm not quite sure. Okay, so I don't think it's one of the magical bolts. It's just a frickin' bolt sticking out of her chest. How come the concern that Kieran has for her right now, as he's trying to stabilize her because there's a fucking bolt in her chest. It's like she's dying. I mean, Castile's voice cracking because he can't say that she wouldn't be alive if it hit her heart is heartbreaking. No pun intended. She's freaking... I'm so confused. She can't die. She can't die. So, like, why are they making me believe that she's gonna die? Jay, like, why are you doing this to us? Why are you writing out her death scene like it's actually gonna happen? Like... Castile broke. Castile breaking. Oh my god, what the... Was not prepared for this. Not prepared. Okay, now a blood, or whatever tree is growing. Interesting. Oh, not a blood one. It's got the golden buds. Interesting. Oh, no, it's blood red leaves. Okay. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do, and I'm concerned. Are they about to freaking ascend her? Because I don't know how I would feel about that. No. Like, I know that, like, the way that Castile explains it, the Ascended aren't inherently bad. They're made to be bad because they're not taught another way to feed. They make their bite hurt. Like, there can definitely be consensual, like, blood giving for them to survive. They don't need to be bad people. But I still don't want her to ascend. No, come on, gods. The gods gotta bring her back somehow. Come on. I'm so confused. Please tell me he's not about to ascend her. Oh my god, he is. He's going to ascend her. No! I refuse to believe that this is happening right now. No. I can't. I'm not shocked that that's what he's doing because, like, the signs were there. But, like, at the same time, can't believe he actually went there. Maybe because she is half Atlantean, she's not gonna be so bloodthirsty. Because that would be interesting. And maybe that's how this is gonna work. I don't know. I'm so confused. I can't believe he just turned her into an Ascended. Okay, so I think the worst is over. I'm gonna continue reading and I'll update you when I have more thoughts. Okay, so I'm not that much farther in. I'm like another page in, but I just had a thought. Maybe because she has like the blood of Nyktos and because she has the blood of a deity, maybe when she ascends, it's not the ascension, it's the culling, and the culling like speeds up and she becomes like a mature Atlantean, and like she's hungry right now, but it could be like the same hunger that Castile felt when he hadn't fed for a while, which makes a little bit more sense because they're talking about Castile being able to feed her, but Ascendants can only feed off of mortal blood, not Atlantean blood. The Atlantean blood is just what they need to make the vampires. So I think she's an Atlantean. I don't think she's an Ascended. I hope. I don't know. I'm confused. That's my thought right now. I'll come back and I'll tell you if I was right. Okay, so I'm on chapter 10 now. I'm on page 125. So I think I was right. She hasn't ascended. Well, they've said that she didn't ascend. Kieran had pointed out that her eyes were still green, they're not black. She fed from Castile and like was okay. She went out in the sunlight and didn't burst into flames. So she's obviously not ascended, but I'm not quite sure like why or how she's not ascended. I'm hoping we're gonna find out in the next couple of chapters, but I'm not quite sure how that happened. I hope they explain how she didn't ascend, but I don't know. But anyway, that's it for right now. Okay, so I've gotten to the part where I believe they're about to kill Alistair, and I wanted to get my live reaction. Did someone just speak in her head? Oh boy. It's starting to bring in so many different elements. I'm not even sure how I'm like prepared for them. I'm sorry, did they eat Alistair? Oh, okay, that makes it a little bit better because I was a little confused. I was like, she takes her dagger and she like slices his throat like 2 seconds into him talking to her, which I mean is badass because we don't need to hear your voice anymore, Alistair. Be gone. But then the very last part of this says, like one of the relentless waves crashing against the rocks below, they came in flashes of fur and teeth, both large and small. They came and they devoured. I'm assuming that means that they ate the people that were there, which is a little disturbing, a little right on. I don't know what else to say about that, but yeah, okay, I will update you after I've read some more. Okay, so it is the 29th of April, and it is currently 7 o'clock at night. I got really tired last night, so I didn't really continue reading that much, but I do have a few updates, and I'm getting really irritated because the back of this just keeps getting more and more destroyed as I keep reading, and it's really irritating me. But anyway, so I read up to page 260. After they killed Alistair, not a lot of stuff happens. Poppy, Castile, Kieran, the wolves, Jasper, everybody travels back to Atlantia. Or I guess they were in Atlantia, but they're back in Scion's Cove. And in the streets, we see a lot of the Wolven coming out and saying, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but basically it's Old Atlantean. And it translates to my queen when they see her, which is interesting. And then we go to Jasper, Kieran's family home, and they're there, and they basically are just there to like rest. I was like really sad because like Castile had known, but he'd been asking her if she was okay, and every single time she says I'm fine, like I'm okay, and he kept getting mad at her for that. And now I understand why he was getting mad, because like, you know, you're not okay, Poppy, and it's okay to not be okay. But she finally broke, and she just like sat there crying for a while, and it broke my heart. It broke my heart. It was really, really sad. Oh, we do find out that Kieran and Poppy can communicate through their mind. Oh, and we also find out some information. So we find out that Nyktos was the one who turned the Kiyu into what the Wolven are and like into their mortal forms. And that Nyktos could also change into a white wolf. Then we also find out that Nyktos could also, like, that's how he communicated with the Wolven to change them. They communicated through their head. So she has a lot of traits that Nyktos had, and I'm not completely convinced that she's a descendant from Malek. I think Alistair was just saying that because he knew it would rile her and he knew that it would like annoy her to be a descendant of Malek. However, I don't know. There's a lot of what ifs, and I just genuinely have no clue like what it's gonna lead to and like why it is what it is. So then Poppy and Kieran, after Poppy and Kieran talked about that, house gets attacked again, and it's by these things called the Unseen, which are these like monsters that don't have a face, and I thought it was interesting because when she reached out to them, she couldn't feel anything, as if they were ascended, but they're not ascended. They're called Grim, I think you're supposed to say Grim. But yeah, so that happened. And then we find out that the Unseen were created by either the gods or the deities, and it was for their protection, but also for them to be spies. So they would adorn masks, like the white wolf masks, when they needed to be somewhere but they weren't seen. And these are also the masks that the Dissenters have, but they're two different entities apparently. And then the one thing that I wanted to like quote because I thought it was funny, and Alistair, he kept annoying me because we have the guardians, like the guardians of the women, the warrior women, and they're the ones who protect everyone. And when Poppy was being held by Alistair and Commander Jensen kept saying, no, we're the real guardians. Like, are you kidding me? Like, we're the protectors. We're the actual protectors of Atlantia. Those wannabes are not anything or whatever. And obviously they're all women, and like obviously he had a problem with that. And Castiel's like, he doesn't believe that like Alistair, or he's not sure if Alistair would be involved in this brotherhood or whatever. And he goes, you really believe Alistair was involved with them? A group of men who feel emasculated by the fact that the actual guardians of Atlanta are all female, and so they desperately cling to their special secret group. And I was like, period, Castiel. Period. That was exactly what it is, because they're emasculated. But yeah, other than that, nothing's really happened. I don't know how to say this, but like the first couple of chapters like were really action-packed. It was very much a 5-star feel at the very beginning. Right now it's a little bit more of like a 4-star feel, maybe 4.5, just because like not a lot has happened. Granted, I still have more than half of the book left, so a lot could happen, but I just feel like some things are being dragged out just a little bit too much. But yeah, so I'll update you when I've read a little bit more. Okay, so I am currently on page 299, almost on page 200. Not much has happened other than just like some fluffy things. Some like cute things between Castiel and Poppy have happened. I'm trying to think of information that we've gotten. So we find out that obviously we knew that the Unseen were like summoned or like created by the gods for the deities, but they are created from soil and something else. But you need the soil from the land of the gods, and we find out that the lands of the gods isn't like something on a different plane. It is in our world, and it's actually under the mountain of Nyktos, which is interesting. And apparently, so in this like you can only get there by sea or land. And if you go through the sea, it's like a magical barrier, like it doesn't let you through. It's very like dangerous waters and everything. And then if you go by land, there's like the same mist that's in the Skotos mountains to get from Solus to Atlantia, and it will literally suffocate you if you're not a god, so you can't go that way. But apparently there's these tunnels underneath that will let you get there. The interesting thing is that Castiel and Malek and Kieran, when they were little, used to navigate these tunnels constantly, and they've realized that at some point they would get so far and then they would just get this really odd feeling, which at the time they chalked it up to them being just scared because that their parents were going to get mad at them. But we've realized that it's the wards basically telling them you shouldn't go here. And then one of the best things that we find out is they're talking about who knows about the whole like tunnel system and everything, and Jasper is like, oh, he's like, I imagine Wilhelmina knows. And Castiel's like, Wilhelmina. And they're like, yeah. They're like, what's her last name? And they're like, Collins. Because he's like, you've never met Willa. Her name's Willa Collins. And I wonder, I'm really hoping it's the same Willa Collins of the diary, because that would just be really funny if she actually exists and she's actually Atlantean, because, like, what? And I also thought that she was, like, dead, so that would be interesting. I love Poppy and Castiel's relationship, and I love how supportive he is. Like, they're right now talking about the fact that, like, they need to seriously think about if Poppy's gonna take the throne, if she's gonna take the claim as queen. And Cass is basically just like, I'm not forcing you to do anything, like, you need to know that if you say no, we're gonna have to leave, like, but that's something we'll accept together, but if you say yes, we'll rule together, like, whatever you want to do. And the quote that he says that I just love is, do not want to be party to forcing you into yet another role you did not ask for nor desire. I will not replace the veil you loathe with the crown you hate. If you do not want to take the crown, I will support you. Like, he's so supportive, and he's just like, I will do whatever you want to do. We'll do whatever you want to do, boo. But yeah, so those are kind of my updates. I know it's only 30 pages, but whatever. Okay, so I'm at the beach, which is fun, and I'm trying to read. I have not updated you yet because I was in the car yesterday for like the entire day, and then when I got home very late, and I was going to update you then, and then there was a whole bunch of noise and I couldn't do that. So I'm trying to update you now. Let's see, where did I finish off? So sort of a lot has happened, sort of not a lot has happened. Poppy healed somebody, like, from the dead. She brought the little girl back, which was interesting. So we also learned that the cave cats are supposedly extinct from Karen, but obviously Poppy saw one, so that's a little confusing. I really loved the scene, like, not the scene, but like the entire chapter of just Poppy and Castile going around and like just having fun, because that was like really cute. And like, I appreciated that she was showing her Atlantia, which was real nice. Finally met, I'm assuming her name is Kira. Finally met Karen's mom, and she's adorable. I absolutely love her. However, I just have a feeling, since we have the scene earlier with Poppy saving the little girl, I just have a feeling that, because like that was something that was said, and then she asked like when Kira was due, I just have a sick feeling that Poppy's ability to bring somebody back to life is going to come into play, and I'm not sure if it's going to be in a good way, in the sense of like, I don't know if she's going to die and she's not going to be able to bring her back, or if they're going to leave us off in a cliffhanger when the baby is born, like the baby's going to die. Something's going to happen with that baby, and I'm not quite sure what it is, because we've known about it for 2 books now and nothing's happened yet, so I thought that was interesting. But yes, I absolutely love her. She's great, and I loved the fact that she was so like welcoming. I also really loved the moment between Hawk and his mother, like her finally seeing her son and like them embracing. It was really cute, and I really appreciated it. So yeah, that was good. Kind of annoyed with his parents at first, because they were being very annoying and like very judgmental towards her, even though they apologized, but like they're being very judgmental. Like when Poppy's explaining how she tried to get the people who were throwing stones at her to stop by explaining that she's not what they think they are, that they think she is, that she, you know, is not one of the soul suckers, not soul leaders, whatever. He basically said, she's like, I tried to stop them, and King Valen was like, I would say you succeeded, maiden. First off, he called her a maiden. She's not the maiden. Second off, yeah, of course she succeeded after they repeatedly did it and it wouldn't stop. Then Castile was just like, you're gonna call her Penelope, is what he said. He said, her name is Penelope, and if you get my wife's permission, you may call her that. If not, then you may call her you call her princess. Whatever rolls more respectfully off your tongue. But what you will never refer to her as is as the maiden. Do you understand me? Love a supportive husband. And like, I even put a note, like on a sticky note, like that's important. I said, Castile gave no reason for me to believe that he wouldn't be, but I love how supportive of Poppy he is. He isn't letting his mom or dad walk all over her. You know, he's defending her. We love to see it. Because we do. We love to see it. So then we find out that Penelope is Malek's daughter, and which is interesting because everybody thought Malek was dead. Then we find out that Queen Alona actually entombed him, but she entombed him like 400 years ago, and she was born 19 years ago, so you know, that's also a little strange. So obviously somebody entombed him, which was like, what? We find out that she was entombed in the blood forest of Macedonia, which is why there's all the blood trees there. I also, the one thing that I really did love was the fact that the way she responds to Castiel's mom asking if she had forgiven Castiel for what he did. And she goes, I think too much value is given to forgiveness when it's easier to forgive but far harder to forget. The understanding and acceptance is far more important than forgiving someone, which I completely agree. It's basically what Castiel had told Alona about her. And as my son failed to mention, though, is that you're incredibly logical. And it was like, she's like, yeah, no, he would never say that I was logical. And then she goes, that doesn't surprise me. Most men wouldn't know logic if it smacked them in the face. And I was like, oh, it's funny. That's very funny. So then, the other thing that I also really loved, like a quote, was, very few men don't want to make war while nearly every woman wants to end it. Most would believe the former caused the most bloodshed. They'd be wrong. The latter is always the bloodiest and always requires a great sacrifice, which, agreed. So then they're talking about the fact that the Ascended are the Ascended and they're bad. And that the king and queen don't want war, but they're attempting war because, like, you know, the Ascended are bad. And I'm like sitting here reading this, and I got to a part where basically Queen Alona was explaining to Poppy that, you know, they have an army, the army's already assembled and everything, and that they will march on Carcedonia and burn it to the ground. And Poppy goes, millions of people live in Carcedonia. And they're like, yeah, and millions could die. She agreed to her. And my thought was, this is my like purple thing that I forgot to put a tab on, was that I had a feeling that Alona was telling her all of this because she wants her and Castiel to take the throne and like accept the fact that she's queen. And she's hinting to saying that like we can't stop it. I like obligated, we are not the people who can stop it. But that if they become king and queen, they should be able to stop it. So that. And then the last thing that was the shocking, it wasn't really shocking because I knew it was coming, is that Venetta comes and tells them that a man named, who claims to be Poppy's brother, is at Space's End, and that he's requesting an audience with them. And then I continued reading, and it was really sad. This is where, like, the point that I'm at right now. I'm on page 402, but I'm page 401. Venetta says he showed in the night we can sense the vampire. He was ascended, and it's heartbreaking that he's actually ascended, and he's not in any way related to her. So that's where I am right now. I'm at the beach, having fun, reading, and yeah, so I'll update you probably later after I get home from the beach, but yes, bye! I have read some more. I'm currently on page 479. Yesterday we went to the beach. Everything hurts. My face is probably a little red. My shoulders are very red. My back is very red. This is very red. I hurt a lot because I got a sunburn. Other than that, I read some more. I actually read less than I wanted to read because I wanted to get a bunch of this done at the beach because I thought it would be like cool, cute, yeah, but that didn't happen. My family ended up showing up and I read all of 16 pages while they were there. So not a lot. However, I do have some updates. So we learned that Ian obviously is at Space's End. They decide they're gonna go to Space's End and meet with him because he has a message from the Blood Crown and everything. Meeting with Ian was interesting because I can't tell if he's a good guy or a bad guy, because like he wasn't exactly acting like Ian, but then Poppy reveals that Ian used to act a lot, and that he would have loved to go into like theater or something, and that when he would tell her stories, he would act them out with all these accents and different things. So it's very possible that he's being a good guy. But the big thing that was like, whoa, weird, and I still can't tell which part is real, is that he asked to hug Poppy at the very end of their meeting, saying like, it's my sister, I haven't seen her in a while, I'd like to hug her, say hello, whatever. As he's hugging her, he whispers to her, Poppy, I know the truth. Like, or Poppy says, Poppy, listen to me, I know the truth. Wake Nyctos, his guardians are the only things that can defeat the Blood Crown. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming it means that he's not actually bad. He's just playing a role to be able to stay in that like place of like power and be able close to everything that's going on. The other thing that we learned is that the Blood Crown has these thing called revenants, and I have no idea what the break revenants could possibly be. Like, I'm trying to think of what sort of creatures they could be, and I just have no idea. Ian says that they're not mortal, they're not ascended, they're not Atlantean. So yes, that's that. And then the only other really like big thing that happened is Poppy and Castile have been crowned king and queen. The only thing that like I am confused about in that chapter is that King Valen very much confuses me. One minute he is the one sort of insulting Poppy, the next minute he's the one defending her. I don't know what to believe with him. I'm very happy when he defends her because it seems that Alona and Valen are like accepting Poppy as their own daughter, but it kind of confuses me. So yeah, that's the only thing. I'm gonna go ahead and read some more. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish this tonight, just because since I'm home, I'm sure my family is gonna want to do something together, so we'll probably do that. And then, yeah, but hopefully I'll finish it tomorrow. I finished A Crown of Gilded Bones. I did not stop reading. I got to page, what, last time I updated you, I was on page 479. I read close to 150 pages very quickly. You know, yesterday my sunburn was very bad, so I didn't feel like it hurt a lot, so I didn't feel like updating you, but I did end up finishing it yesterday. A lot of stuff happens in the last 150 pages. So Poppy Castile got crowned. We also meet Willa Collins, which I'm so excited that she's an actual person and we actually got to meet her, but we also find out that she's one who's at the Red Pearl who led Poppy to Cass. Everything comes full circle and I absolutely love that. So yes, I loved their interactions. I loved how like supportive she was of Poppy and Cass and everything, so that was great. So they get crowned and then the next day they go to the Temple of Nyctos, or they go to Elysium to go find Nyctos to wake him to get the dragon. So that's interesting. They go in and like all is fine at first, and then they're in like Elysium, I guess. And then these skeletons attack them and I was like, why are there skeletons with swords attacking them? But I believe we find out that it's them who protect the consort. We meet with Nyctos and Nyctos tells Poppy, basically the whole conversation leads to explaining things about Malik, but he also explains that he's a primal god and that it wouldn't have mattered if Poppy's mom was mortal because she would have had the powers either way because Nyctos is the primal god. But then basically Nyctos doesn't really help them. He's like, you had the power all along, you don't need my help, I'm gonna go back to sleep. Thanks. Nice to meet you, going back to sleep. So they leave, she's contemplating, she doesn't really know, you know, what to do. Oh, and then we also meet Gianna, which I guessed it because as Poppy, because it's like Poppy's walking on the grounds and then they're like, oh, a beautiful woman or whatever, and I was like, that's gonna be Gianna. And lo and behold it was. And I loved Poppy's response because it was friggin' hilarious. They're like talking whatever and she's like, you know, I actually like you, like I wish I didn't know that like you were betrothed or whatever. And Gianna's telling her she has no feelings for Cass, and Poppy goes, good, because if you did I would probably tear you apart limb by limb and then feed what remained to a pack of hungry brats. Now would you like to find Kieran? I think I remember which room he's in. I just love that she went so like, if you did I would tear you apart. I was just really funny. So funny. So then they end up traveling to Oak something or whatever and they're meeting with the Blood Crown. Then shit starts to happen. So they come up with this plan to try and sneak in so they can be there before the Ascended think that they're there, so that, you know, element of surprise. They're like, ha, we got in here and we're that powerful. That doesn't go as planned. They end up getting captured, sort of, and led to the thing, and they're like, yeah, we already knew you were here. We knew that the other people weren't real. We also see when they're down in these like weird tunnel thingies, the cave cat that Poppy saw as a child, and we see she touches him and it turns into a person and then it goes back. So obviously it's the same cave cat, but this whole theory that it could be Malik is very much plausible. We get to finally meet Ileana. She's there, and we also see Tawny. Oh my god, Tawny was okay. Tawny's alive, Tawny's immortal. Everything was okay with Tawny, which I was really happy about. But then Ileana walks in and she's with Malik. And like Malik's a-okay, like walking in behind her, like he's got stantails. And it's the strangest thing. So, you know, that was kind of shocking. And then I just kind of hate Queen Ileana. So then we just get bombshell after bombshell after bombshell after bombshell in like these last 55 pages. So apparently Poppy's ascension was always supposed to be her coming back to the capital and not ascending, but marrying Prince Malik in order to join Atlantia. So she's like, you just married the wrong brother, which is annoying. Also, Malik, ugh, I don't like him. He's honestly disgusting. It's very annoying. Queen Ileana basically knows what they were there to do and says, no, we're not gonna do that, but you can accept my terms. And her terms are basically that Poppy and Castile would go back to Atlantia, claiming sovereignty to Queen Ileana, and, you know, renounce everything, that Castile's parents would die, that they would dismantle all of the armies, they would have to convince the people of Atlantia that Queen Ileana and the Ascendant are actually good, not bad. Like, ugh. I was like, that's actually laughable. Like, the fact that she really thought that they would agree to that. Then we find out what the Revenant are. And apparently the Revenant are people, like actual people in like bloodlines who can't die. There's a whole process apparently. We don't entirely get the process of how they become the Revenant, but yeah, it involves the blood of a king and something like that, so I was confused on that. Then we get more bombshell. We find out that Queen Ileana is not Poppy's grandmother, it's Poppy's mother. Apparently she's not ascended, and I'd guessed this a while back, but she's also Isbeth. She's not Queen Ileana, her real name is Isbeth. Another thing is that we find out obviously Ian is not Poppy's real brother, but that Leo and Coralina are his parents, and that they were supposed to protect Poppy. Then we find out that there was a whole lie about the fact that Isbeth was actually ascended. We find out that Malik is actually a god because he's the son of Nykthos and his consort, which makes him a god because Nykthos is a primal, and that also makes Poppy a god, which is interesting. But yeah, so we find out that happens. We also find out that Queen Ilona, whatever, Castile's mother, poisoned Isbeth, which is why Malik had to ascend her. And then we also find out that they also had a son who is now dead, but that Malik had to shuffle out Isbeth and she couldn't take their son, and their son was with Malik. Ilona knew that. She ended up finding out, and she didn't tell anybody. So she let everybody believe that Isbeth was a ascended and that Queen Ileana is also an ascended and one of the first. So that was iffy. I started not liking Ilona. And then Isbeth goes a little batshit crazy. You know, she was always batshit crazy, but I don't think she was going to go this far. So she was like, so just agree to my terms and nobody will get hurt, you know? And Poppy and them were like, we're not agreeing to that. Obviously not. And so because of that, she kills Ian. And I was genuinely not expecting her to kill Ian. I thought she was going for Castile, and I was like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting Ian to die. Ian is now dead. Poppy goes a little ballistic. Poppy does not end up being able to kill Isbeth because Isbeth claims that she is a god. We find out that that's not true. She claims that she's a god because she's not ascended. She didn't ascend when she ascended. You know, she's not a vampire. But then all the shit hits the fan because Isbeth is killing Poppy, even though it's her daughter, which is just a little convoluted and annoying, but she's killing Poppy. And then Castile is like, no, don't kill her, take me instead, trying to self-sacrifice. And then she takes Castile instead and leaves Poppy and Kieran and Vanetta and Tawny and all of them on the outside. But the fact that Castile is now captured again is just killing me. Especially because earlier, like a few chapters earlier, he was explaining how the reason that he absolutely loves when she calls him Cass is because that's the thing that got him out of the trance of going almost over the edge, because when he would forget himself, when he would forget that he's a person and not a thing, like not an object to be used, his friends would call him Cass. So whenever she calls him Cass, it like reminds him that he's not a thing, that he's a person. But now he's captured again. And now he's gonna think he's a thing again. So yeah, we find out that Poppy is also a god. So cool, interesting. We end up traveling back to Evamon, whatever. We're at the castle. We're confronting Queen Ilona. I just want to say I loved strong ass Poppy being a god bitch. Like, she was amazing. She made this named Grigori bow down before her, made him call her your majesty. She goes off and she says, in the entirety of the two kingdoms, I couldn't give a fuck if you or any other member of the council likes me. It does not change that I'm your queen, and your tone and manner in which you address me is highly inappropriate. Not just because I'm your queen, but because I'm the grandchild of Nyktos and you speak to a god with such disrespect. It was great. Love her being super powerful. I also love the fact that she made Queen Nella sweat a little bit, because as much as like she's been accepting of Poppy, and like I think deep down she really cares for Poppy, and I think that they will eventually get over this, they have a lot of things to work out. But I did love the fact that she made her sweat a little bit, and she was like asking me where the blood stains are. Like, she was being a badass bitch. And she was being a queen. So then the only thing was that all of the names are like merging at the moment. Elena did not know that Isbeth was Poppy's mother though, so that was interesting. However, here's another interesting thing we find out. So Poppy ends up going back to Ithilien. She only takes Kieran because, you know, big group, probably not a good thing, because the last time it didn't go well. She takes only Kieran, and she goes to Ithilien to go and figure out how to get the dragon. We end up finding out that she already had the power to get the dragon. Like, that's what she'd figured out. She's like, I already had power within me to call a dragon because I am his granddaughter. They would listen to me. So she goes to go there, and they find Nikas, something like that, and he's in his human form, whatever, and he was just like, if you speak the words, like, you can't undo them, like if you summon the dragon. So they summon the dragon. However, we also find out that Malik isn't her father. His twin, Iris' twin is his father. And we also find out that the guy, that the cave cat that was there, is her father. It's Iris. Iris is in there, and Malik is still entombed. So Malik was never untombed. Iris had just fled from Ithilien with one of the other draken, and is now the cave cat, which is interesting. So, you know, that happened. Oh, also, okay, so Tawny, last couple of things. So Tawny is still alive, but she was hit by something, and it's making her veins go black, and they finally like stopped whatever it was that was making her veins go black, but you know, she's not okay. She's not waking up. They're trying to figure out how to wake her up, whatever. I'm curious to see if she's gonna be anything or something, or if like maybe when she got bit by one of the Ascended and she was turning into a Craven but was like stopped because Poppy healed her sort of, but then they needed somebody else to get the blackout. I'm not sure what's gonna happen with Tawny. I'm interested to see what's gonna happen with Tawny. Preparing to march back into Solus, they're meeting in, I think, the woods of the oak whatever thingy, and she sends out a message, and she says, one of the king, she's like, respect me as a queen. I will not meet with anybody but the king or the queen of Solus. So they're there, they've got the dragon, they're marching out, and Valen comes over and says, and Eloana and I are even more lucky to have you as our daughter-in-law. And I was melting. I was like, oh, he is such a precious, like, he may have annoyed me at first, but I think he really does mean well, so that's good. Basically, the last chapter, shit goes down. And, you know, cliffhanger ending, so we know it was coming. And honestly, like, I'm okay with the cliffhanger ending at the moment, because I think the payoff is going to be good. But I have a few thoughts, which I will talk about in a second. So basically, they send King Halara, whatever the hell, how you say his name, instead of Queen Isbeth. But kind of a good thing. So one thing that Halara says to Poppy is, you may have been born of Nyktos blood, but you and I both know what you are, and you will always be the maiden who is part pretty and part disaster. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to confirm this, but I think it might have been him who was at the inn and who killed her parents. Because it just sounds like something that they would say, and we also know that Isbeth knew and had sent someone to kill them, and she also killed Coralina. So it had to have been somebody from the crown coming to do that. So that's that. So then Poppy kills all of the knights that are there. She kills Halara, and the revenant she leaves alive, and she says, here's his head, I'm taking the crown. Yeah, she's like message, she takes the crown. She's like, I want you to deliver that to her and let her know that I have its crown. It's mine now. I want you to thank her for me for teaching me life, to fight like a god. Tell her that was for Ian, whatever. And then she's like, and now the most important part. I need you to make sure she understands that I'm coming for her, that I will burn every remnant that stands between me and her, and I will strike down every senator who defends her. I will topple every castle she seeks to hide and make sure she understands that her survival hinges on Castile. She will release him, or she will see each and every one of her cities leveled. If she touches him again, and I will destroy her precious Malek, and I can. I know where he is. He lives, for now, and if she kills Castile, if anyone kills him, I will make sure her death is a slow one, and that will take hundreds of years to complete, if not thousands. You understand. Whatever. And then she says, good. She goes, make sure she knows I am the chosen, the one who is blessed, and I carry the blood of the god of kings in me. I am Leysa to the Woven, the second daughter, the true heir, owed the crowns of Atlanta and Solus. I am the queen of flesh and fire, and the gods guards ride with me. Tell the blood queen to prepare for war. I loved the ending of this. It was so badass. Love precious, stunning, murderous wifey. Love a murderous wifey. So that was the end of it. A lot happened. I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked the overall story, but I just think that not a lot happens, and the stuff that does happen happens between like the first 200 or 100 pages, 150, and the last 150 pages. Those are very fast, very action-packed. And while I loved the middle filler and like the interactions that we get between the people and Poppy and Castile and all that stuff, it seemed a little bit too much. I don't think I would take anything out. However, what I would take out is the fact that there's so many things that are very repetitive. And I understand that like at some point you have to like kind of summarize what happens in the previous book for people who aren't rereading it so that they're not completely lost. But when you say stuff over and over again, it gets extremely repetitive, and it's very annoying to me because I keep reading the same things over and over again and Poppy reacting in the same ways over and over again to things that we already know. So that was a little annoying. I thought the pacing was just a little bit off because there were certain things that like, you know, took a paragraph to explain, and then there were other scenes that had, you know, 2-3 chapters of them traveling or of them doing something, which didn't necessarily need that. So yeah, I thought the pacing was a little bit off, and I'm also interested to see how this is going to be like pushed into 6 books. We're only on book 3. We have 3 more books left, and I don't know how much more we can extend the material. I think if they said that, like, you know, if it was maybe 2 more books, like the next one was like the big battle between, you know, Isbeth and Poppy and like all of them or whatever, and then like maybe the 5th book being, okay, everything's calmed down, aftermath, we're trying to make sure everything flows, we're trying to make sure that everything happens smoothly. Like I could see that. I'm just not sure how 6 books, like I don't know how much more you can do and how many more twists and turns that you can fit into these books that would make it seem natural as opposed to just completely drawn out. I think this book probably could have had more material in it if you would just cut out some of the middle bits a little bit more or made them a little bit quicker, because there's a lot of things that just seem a little bit too long. However, I really love this series, so I'm excited to see where it goes. And like if we're just getting like a fluff book about all of the things that happen, I'm completely okay with that. I'm very excited for the next book. I'm not sure when that's coming out. I'm also not sure, I think A Shadow in the Ember or something like that is the next book that comes out, and that comes out in October. I think it's like October 19th. Yes, October 19th, 2021 is the story of Nyktos and his consort and how their love shaped the realms of for all time. So yes, so JLA has said that the Ember, is it the Shadow of Ember, something like that, the new book that's coming out in October, it follows obviously Nyktos and his consort, but that it follows it beforehand and that eventually the timelines are going to converge. So obviously that means that like Nyktos and his consort are going to be in the next books, but I'm interested to see if that means that the gods are all going to wake up and like come help Poppy, because you know that's their kin. But yeah, so like I said, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I just think that there could have been more content in it as opposed to so much filler, but overall I did really like it. Love this series. Cannot wait for the next book. Honestly can't wait to read Nyktos and his consort's story, because from what I got of them, I think it'll be really good. especially when Niktos made this comment about like Poppy not being able to hold her tongue and being like super feisty. He's like, she's like, he smiles and he says like she'll like that, which I can only assume he's talking about her, so it's like her grandmother. But yes, so you made it to the end of this because it's probably a really long video. Leave like a crown emoji in the comments because I'd love to see how many people actually made it to the end. So if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up, and if you like this video and want to see more content from me, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you know when things will come out. I'm planning on posting every Tuesday and Friday from now on, so 2 times, whoa, I just hit myself in the face. So 2 times a week from now on. There may be the odd 3rd video as a bonus in case like maybe there's something happening. But yes, so I hope you are having a good time wherever you are, whatever time it is. I hope you're good, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.